Welcome back to the Value City Arena. The Buckeyes and Fighting Camels moments away from tonight's opening tip. Let's check out tonight's Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineups. Campbell comes in here with a record of 1-2, and they're a ball club that is still trying to put it all together. They'll give you that Princeton offensive look. They'll play the matchup zone on defense. Meanwhile, for Ohio State, Jim, Amir Williams sat out Sunday, resting that knee. He's back in the lineup.
Good to see for Amir. Precautionary on Monday. Nothing real serious, but again, you don't want those things to linger. Give it a chance to heal.
There's the head basketball coach at Campbell University, Kevin McGeehan. It's his second season as the head man. 8 years the right-hand man at Richmond University under Chris Mooney. And Thad Matta, who's become one of the deans in college basketball, his 11th year in Columbus. He has been a head basketball coach, if you include this season, 15 seasons. He's won 20 games every year, no matter where he is. And he has taken the Buckeyes to the Final Four on 2 different occasions. The opening tip controlled by Ohio State. Buckeyes coming off that Sunday win in which they scored 106, and right off the bat, first possession turnover. Underneath, Mason with a rebound, forced it up, couldn't get it to go. Amir Williams has the rebound for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that was very good attention to detail that time by the Camels, by knowing the scouting report and what Ohio State wanted to run as their first play out the gate.
Sam Thompson missed the jumper. Andrew Ryan with a rebound. Campbell University, they're not going to milk the clock like we used to see Northwestern do when they ran the Princeton, but you'll see a lot of those back cuts as there's a whistle underneath.
Talking to Coach McGeehan, it's all about, if you got an available shot, you take it. If not, work the ball around, get a high-quality shot, because that could be your best defense. If you take bad shots and you turn the ball over, this is where this Ohio State team is deadly.
Loving had the steal. He just missed the 3. Amir Williams, the offensive rebound, but then he put the ball on the deck.
Yeah, he should have just kept it up and went right back up, using his height advantage. A nice little jump hook inside. The advantage goes to the smaller guys underneath once you put the ball on the deck.
And another turnover on the Fighting Camels. Scott ahead to Russell. Russell with a layup, and the Buckeyes have the early 2-0 lead.
When you turn the ball over, in particular deep within the paint area, now you don't have any balance in regards to transition defense, and you see Ohio State able to exploit that on that possession.
Tough shot by DJ Mason. Another Amir Williams rebound. Buckeyes looking to run. Scott with a pull-up 3.
And I like that shot for Shannon Scott, because now you see Mark Loving right there in offensive rebound position. And a lot of times you see Amir now has inside position. So that shot in transition is very good, in particular for an offensive rebounding team. And Shannon Scott feeling very confident. That's a shot that he might have turned down last year. But I'll tell you, his mind is in the right place right now, Tom. And his teammates are really feeding off of that.
It's amazing what confidence does.
It is. It's a big part of this game. There are a lot of talented players that play. But it's sometimes mentally, when you get into a rut, it's not physically, but it's in between the ears a lot of times, and you can feel good about yourself when you're playing really good, but then when it goes the other way, that's when you mentally have to be pretty strong.
Those were the first 2 free throw attempts of the year, and Amir Williams knocked them both down. Ohio State on top by a 4-0 count. We've played close to 2 minutes. Campbell has missed all 3 of its shots and has 2 turnovers.
A couple of the passes, they tried to jump in the air and make a spectacular pass. There's some soft spots in the zone if Campbell can find it.
Mason along the baseline. 3 ball by Days. Can't get the favorable bounce, but tipped up and in by DJ Mason, who leads this club in scoring at 15 a game.
DJ Mason, excellent job of tight-roping the baseline, collapsing the defense. That allowed offensive rebound position inside for him.
Russell from the corner, and he got the rim to favor him that time, and that's another triple. Russell, of course, had 32 points on Sunday, comes in here averaging 18 a game.
You see Ohio State with a little 2-2-1 full court press, not necessarily to create turnovers, but the speed. The Camels up right there. Again, you know, those are, you take the shot, you're 23 feet out. When you're playing zone defense, those are the shots that you want, Tom.
And that was a triple by the senior Andrew Ryan. So it's 7-5 Buckeyes. We've played 3 minutes. First ever meeting between these two schools. Thompson, nice pump fake and drive.
And when you're knocking down three-point shots at a high frequency, the pump fake, what Sam showed you, worked for it. Because now you have to respect that area. And he's one of the best finishers, not only in the country, I mean in Big Ten, but also in the country. So excellent job by Sam Thompson utilizing the pump fake.
Hamer tried to penetrate. Ray got it inside, kick out. Hamer for three, too strong. Shannon Scott had it stripped by Hamer.
That's a shot Ryan should have taken right there. In particular, while the defense was still scrambling, he had to open up. A lot of times when you don't take it, it leads to, you know, a kind of a contested shot. And so for Campbell, when you have those opportunities right there, recognize it, let it go.
Well, and Kevin McGeehan, the coach of Campbell University, was saying today that, look, the key for us is that we've got to get good shots. Just don't jack it up. But when we get open looks, Jim, we also have to knock them down.
You got to knock them down. You step up with confidence. And Ryan just knocked down a deep three. Why not take it again?
Well, there's Luke Moyer just into the game. He knocks down that long triple. And it's a 9-8 Ohio State lead.
Campbell kind of settling in right now. You know, you got the early jitters. Playing in the big-time arena against a top-ranked team.
Russell with a miss. Boy, did Mason get off the ground to grab that rebound. This is Luke Moyer with the basketball. Played 1 year at Richmond before he transferred to Campbell. Ryan for three. Too strong. Ticked out, and that's Ryan with it.
And that's a rebound that Amir has to go get right there. I think he took it subconsciously thinking, I have the rebound, I have this height advantage, and really didn't go after it.
So the Fighting Camels, they have come in here knowing all about Ohio State's reputation, in particular that guy, Sam Thompson. But the Buckeyes only with a 1-point lead. 9-8, Ohio State with the early lead over Campbell, and Amir Williams in his senior season. They need him to have a big-time season, Jim.
Keep your eye on Amir. You want to get an earful from your coach. This is what you do. Standing straight up, taking in mind that, you know, you have a height advantage. You don't put a body. You give up an offensive rebound. And that kind of effort is, and Coach Jeff Bowles jumped off the bench and basically said something I can't say on air to his team, but basically that, you know, we're messing around here. We're not taking this serious. And that right there is why Amir's not in a game right now. You can't take for granted those things. You know, it's easy to do because you have the size, the height advantage, the size, the athleticism, but this Campbell team is going to fight.
It's also why Campbell right now has 4 offensive rebounds to stay in this game. Moyer for three. And this time, D'Angelo Russell, who's getting 5 rebounds a game, pulls it down, loving the other way, count it, and a foul on Andrew Ryan as the Buckeyes in transition take an 11-8 lead.
And that's the area right now, I think, for Mark Loving to take that next step in attack mode. He has the ability to put it on the deck and finish. A lot of times he may settle for a little pull-up. He may not go as strong, but when he's attacking like that, in particular in transition, that gives you another dimension, another player where Ohio State already has somewhat of an advantage in that area in transition, to have a guy with that size that can put it on the deck and finish.
I said D'Angelo Russell. That was Mark Loving with that three-point play. Buckeyes haven't done a lot of full-court pressing out of that 2-2-1, but that was just enough pressure there to force a carrying of the basketball.
Yeah, that time Moyer wanted to pass, changed at the last minute. Again, it's the pressure is to build up over time, and it may not create a turnover, but that time it did. But it makes you think, makes you use some of the shot clock.
That triple was halfway down for Sam Thompson and came back out. 12-8, Ohio State with the lead. 14-14 left, first half.
And Campbell has to look for the soft spots right there at the free throw line. Hit it to the wing, let it touch the short corner. That shifts the defense. Now you have driving lanes, but you also have some good interior passing opportunities when you do that.
That ball deflected, another turnover. Thompson ahead to Russell. And D'Angelo Russell with 7 points, and the Buckeyes up 14-8.
And that's the activity you want if you're the Buckeyes on the zone. I thought against Sacred Heart, they were a little bit more nonchalant with their zone defense, not as active. Again, trapping in the corner or also on the sideline. That's an area where you don't want to have the basketball. And, Tom, we had the game against Sacred Heart. The ability right here for D'Angelo to keep his hands active. You create a deflection now. Sometimes you get a steal. This particular occasion, you were able to get out in transition, but what it does is disrupts the offense when you can get your hands on the basketball.
Well, 3 straight turnovers after Campbell had pulled it within a point. And thus the Buckeyes up 14-8 with 13:25 left in the half. And Ohio State has been forcing their opposition into 19 turnovers a game. Thompson driving the baseline. This is Loving on the drive. Off the glass and got it. So Loving now with 5.
Not settling. Don't bail Campbell out. Use that size to your advantage. Continue to attack him off the dribble and get to the basket.
Ohio State with its biggest lead, 16-8. This is Phillips now into the game for the first time. Campbell has been a decent outside shooting team. Tough drive and score by Kyrie Hamer. 6-point Buckeye lead. 12.5 left first half. Nobody on Loving. Fade away. Got it. You Toledo guys know how to shoot.
Get a little post up inside. Nice touch, but great recognition that time by Loving to spin off the defender and fade a little bit to the baseline.
18-10 Buckeyes. Nice dish inside, and the freshman Mabson had it rejected. And then the Buckeyes turn it over. Curtis Phillips the other way. 3rd Ohio State turnover. Campbell University out of the Big South as Phillips drives. A lot of contact, no call. As trying to draw the charge was Anthony Lee. And then a reach-in foul on Kyrie Hamer. That'll be the first on Hamer and the 3rd on Campbell University. So Ohio State not blitzing the Fighting Camels like they did Sacred Heart on Sunday, but Loving and company still up 8.
Mark Loving, the former Ohio Mr. Basketball. This is a big year for him, Tom. The expectations for him are extremely high. A learning process last year, but put on a little bit more weight, more confidence. As you see, working on his post game. He has a little bit of everything. He's knocking down a perimeter jump shot. He's not settling. Now he's putting the ball on the deck to attack. And if he can continue his progression, again, that adds another perimeter scorer, but also a potential player that you can get the ball inside to.
Well, Mark Loving is part of our State Farm State of Success. He has 7 points tonight. He was one of 6 Buckeyes in double figures on Sunday in the win over Sacred Heart.
It's such a quiet demeanor. You really don't know what he's thinking because he's not emotional. But the skill set that he possesses at that size, he has an advantage a lot of times over defenders, in particular if he's at the 4 position.
On the drive, that's Jayshawn Tate, the freshman who got bumped. A holding foul on the Camels. That'll be on Nehemiah Mabson, his first. And the 4th on Campbell. Buckeyes come in averaging 91 points a game, and Ohio State leading the country in shooting at 61%.
just as high quality shots. And when you're able to get to the basket at this frequency, that's why you shoot a high percentage. And it goes back to being able to knock down jump shots. If you're not a good jump shooting team where it's easy for the defense, you see an unforced turnover by Ryan, it's easy for the defense just to lay back in the paint.
That is the 6th turnover on Kevin McGeehan's Fighting Camels. Well, Friday, it's a triple header of hoops. First, the Buckeyes take on James Madison. Then Maryland will host Monmouth. And then we close it out at 9 Eastern with the Hoosiers and UNC Greensboro. Coverage starts at 4 Eastern on Friday. Presented by April Air on BTN and BTN to go. Turkey leftovers on Friday. Triple header of basketball. And then it all sets up for the game, Ohio State and Michigan, on Saturday.
I will be in attendance for that game.
I bet you will.
Well, I won't be sitting outside, I can tell you that.
Jump ball possession arrow favors Campbell University. Come on.
No, what? No, please. Not at all. But right now, coaches always talk about give your body up. Get on the ground. That time, Jayshawn Tate able to get to the ball first, but listen, when it's cold outside, I don't mind tailgating a little bit, Tom, but I got soft over the years. I'm going upstairs to watch the game somewhere. Somebody let me this week to watch it somewhere.
Campbell University, no problem tonight. They just can't hang on to the basketball.
But a lot of it, too, is being indecisive. You know, not wanting to make a turnover sometimes forces you into a turnover.
Well, let's face it, they haven't seen this kind of length and athleticism this season. And a shot clock violation. The Buckeyes forcing a 7th Campbell turnover. And again, Coach Kevin McGeehan said today, can we maintain our poise? Will we get rattled? Can we force the Buckeyes to get a little tense? So far, not so.
Not so, yeah. In that possession, the ball just kind of stayed out on the perimeter, never shifted sides of the court. The Buckeye defense, it was easy for them to guard that time.
We're halfway through the first half. Buckeyes up 20-10. Williams had it blocked by Hamer. Recovered by Sam Thompson. Didn't get the roll, but he got fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And that was an excellent closeout that time by Hamer to contest the shot. Not only contest, but get a piece of it. And you see the closeout right here on the side. Excellent block, but there's Sam Thompson hustling after the basketball and then immediately attacking the basket.
Thompson comes in with just 2 previous free throw attempts this season. He's now 2 for 3 on the young campaign. He has 5. Buckeyes stretch their lead to 11, the biggest of the night, as Nehemiah Mamson gets the next rebound.
And that's an area, too, for the Buckeyes, only shooting a tad bit under 68%. You want to utilize the free throw line as your ally, in particular in late games, but the more aggressive you are early, the sooner you can get into the penalty. But once you get up there, Tom, come conference play, you got to be able to knock down those free throws at a high frequency.
Good ball movement this time by the Camels, and a 3-ball missed outside by Curtis Phillips. It's 1 and done. Here comes Shannon Scott. In the corner, Cam Williams knocks down a triple.
Cam was in that corner waiting for that pass. I mean, his feet were set, elbow cocked, and Shannon Scott at the precise moment made the pass.
Buckeyes thought they had a steal. Instead, it'll be a foul. And so Campbell will keep possession.
And watch Shannon Scott. Part of being a good passer is knowing when to pass, and also putting the pass on time and on target. You give it up a little sooner, maybe it's not set. A little bit late now, the defense is there. That's what point guard. That's what makes really good point guards, knowing when to make the pass.
Well, right now, Campbell, they haven't been able to make the right pass or the right shot. They've had 1 field goal in the last 7.5 minutes. Moyer misses the 3, and wow, Mamson collided with Keita baits Diop, and I think that's an easy call. It'll be the second foul on Madsen and the 6th on Campbell.
And tried to get the hustle, but the issue with Campbell is this, is that when you don't have size, trying to enter the ball either on the baseline or at the free throw line is tougher, because with size you can kind of lob it up. But when you have a smaller perimeter player in size, now your pass is on the downward flight, it's easier to get a deflection that way.
Jim Campbell doesn't have anybody that's taller than 6'6". Scott driving the baseline and scores.
When you don't have size, that's what you should do if you're the Buckeyes, is not settle, is continue to attack the rim. I think what Campbell has to do is try to screen the zone, in particular the 2 guys out front, to open up some passing lanes in order to get some deeper penetration, like right here. And now you can go and attack.
Mason doubled up, had it deflected. Rod Days comes down with it. Hamer with the floater, got it to go, and they needed that. Ohio State had scored 10 unanswered before that bucket. In the corner, getting knocked down was Williams with a miss. Campbell the other way. Skip pass to Moyer.
They want to get that pass in there, but it just can't, for lack of size, get it in there.
And that'll be a foul on Trey McDonald. That'll be his first. So we got a timeout at the Value City Arena. 7:12 left in the first half. Buckeyes in command by 14. Ohio State with a 14-point lead over Campbell, and the Fighting Camels could use some help. That man right there, Jim Perry, was a 2-sport star at Campbell University, both basketball and baseball, and then had a magnificent major league career. As you look at Jim Perry from his days as a Fighting Camel, and then he would go on to be drafted by the Cleveland Indians, would eventually win the American League Cy Young Award, 24 wins in 1970, and thanks to his generosity, the baseball stadium now named after him. Jim Perry, one of the classiest people you will ever meet, and his son Chris still lives here in Columbus. His son Chris was a 3-time All-American golfer here at Ohio State, with a win on the PGA Tour. What a tremendous family.
I need to get with Chris. I need some things I need to iron out with my driver and 3-wood.
That may take more than one lesson.
Yeah,
huh?
you know, my problem, Tommy, I just don't practice. And then I fool myself to think that I could be pretty good without practicing. That doesn't work.
It does for Chris Perry.
Yeah.
Although those guys, it's amazing when you're on the PGA Tour how much time those guys put in. And isn't that amazing to have a dad win a Cy Young and then your son wins on the PGA Tour? That's quite a legacy.
Yeah, I like to go back to those basketball pictures and see your pictures in those shorts and that uniform back in the day. How those legs look in those little shorts.
No, you don't want to see that.
I want to see that. Yeah.
My picture would have been on the end of the bench. Had the warm-up still on. Andrew Ryan out front, 26-14 Buckeyes, 6:50 to play. Is Ohio State more active in its zone tonight, Jim?
They're longer. Their hands are not down to the sides like we saw against Sacred Heart. Again, it makes the passing angles for Campbell a lot harder to get to. And when they get it, you see right there, contested shot is what you want from the Buckeyes.
Jayshawn Tate had the rebound. Ohio State shooting 56% again tonight. Shannon Scott knocks it down. He has 4 points to go with 3 assists.
You talk about Shannon right there knocking down the jump shot. At the beginning of last year, he shot the ball pretty well from the perimeter. But as the season wore on, he kind of shied away from it. I like to see Shannon, even when he misses, because he has a beautiful stroke, to continue to shoot that shot, because that'll open up so many other opportunities for him to just drive by guys and use that body and that speed to attack the basket.
Another turnover on Moyer. Williams the other way for the Buckeyes. This is Tate on the drive with the left hand. Almost got it. Hamer comes the other way for Campbell University. Campbell University picked to finish 8th in the Big South. This year, the Big South looking for Coastal Carolina to be its top club. in the corner. Hamer with a miss, an air ball. Big South is a good basketball conference.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina can play. You know, talent is spread out. A lot of times you don't see it because you don't talk about those schools, but those are the type of programs that you get into a one-game situation.
Yeah.
They've been playing extremely well near the end of the year. You kind of take them for granted. Upset.
Especially if it's a senior.
Yes, a senior-laden team. Exactly.
Thompson driving, and he got slashed on the way in. Buckeyes are in the bonus for the rest of this first half. Well, stay tuned because at the half, State Farm's halftime report will feature Dave Revson, and Sean Morris. They'll break down the first half here in Columbus. They'll check out tonight's action around the rest of the conference. So Dave Revson and Sean Morris will join us on the State Farm halftime report. Thompson at the line. He has 5 points tonight. Jim mentioned Ohio State has scuffled at the line, but Ohio State looks like the Harlem Globetrotters compared to Campbell University. Campbell is shooting 42% from the free throw line this year. They shoot better from the floor than they do the line.
And it amazes me when you have teams that have good shooters that the free throw percentage doesn't reflect that.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to kind of quantify or justify or understand why that is. But a lot of the time, again, every school, you're going to practice your free throws, okay?
Sure.
But it's something when you get in the game and you're up there on the free throw line mentally that I think clicks in that prevents you from being a good free throw shooter.
Buckeyes up 16, under 5 to play in the first half. Days for 3, and the line drive jumper is good. His first bucket of the night.
Excellent execution that time by the Camels. Shifted the defense, then you attack off the dribble, force a little help. Now you make the right pass. You get an open jump shot in the corner. Well, execute a play that time.
30-17 Ohio State, under 4.5 to play. D'Angelo Russell has had a quiet first half. If you call 7 points quiet, it is compared to Sunday.
Well, watch the ball movement here. You enter it on the side, it gets inside the gap. One dribble inside the lane. Now you collapse the defense. That's when you get those open shots. But it's easy to guard when the ball stays in one place. But when you move it around now, you can find some little openings in there. Let's see if Campbell has figured something out and see if they can kind of duplicate that same kind of offensive set.
Buckeyes have played the zone this entire first half. Loving, what a play. Scott spots up. Does he take that shot a year ago?
No. Maybe at the beginning of the year, like I talked about, or I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but later in the year, he would turn that down and try to get a little bit closer. But that's the shot that not only that he should take, but it's a shot that, as you see right there, Todd, he can make.
Buckeyes have 4 players with 7 points apiece. And another turnover by the Campbells, as they have now turned it over 10 different times. And the Buckeyes keep cashing in and lead by 16. Today we close out the regular season with a doubleheader of rivalry games. First at noon, Purdue and Indiana battle for the old Oak and Bucket. And how about at 3:30? Paul Bunyan's axe maybe has never meant more. Minnesota takes on Wisconsin. Coverage starts at noon Eastern Saturday on BTN and BTN to go. What a great game that'll be. The Badgers and the Gophers. The winner is going to take on Ohio State for the Big Ten Championship. What a game that'll be on BTN.
Yeah, what a year for Minnesota. I don't forget the running back's name. I think he's banged up a little bit. We'll get it. Yeah, David Cobb.
Amir Williams with a jam.
Textbook. Up the sideline. The ball never touched the floor. You practice that. You practice that. Ohio State now able to execute it. And it counts most in the game.
Thompson will get called for the bump. That'll be his second personal, third on the Buckeyes.
And this is what height, this is what timing, but also knowing each other well, knowing what spot you're supposed to be in, and getting that pass right on time when it needs to be there so Amir can just catch and finish. Again, that time didn't bring the ball down.
Good point. He learned it.
That's right.
Got stripped earlier. Moyer from way outside.
He shot that by us.
And Amir Williams got banged. He'll go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1.
He's going to tell Coach, I couldn't get it closer. I mean, I was wide open. Well, and the coach, you know, there's a reason why you're not open. You're 30 feet away from the basket. But that's what, you know, a long athletic zone will force you to do, is to operate your offense, you know, 23, 24, 25 feet back and settle for long jump shots. But when you have long jump shots, Tom, it leads to a lot of fast break opportunities for the opposing team.
Amir Williams is at the foul line, and he has knocked down his first free throw, well, his third of this game, excuse me. Stay tuned for news, highlights, and more. The State Farm Halftime Report. Dave Revson and Sean Morse in our Big Ten studios. Williams, who didn't play Sunday with a sore knee, has helped the Buckeyes score 7 unanswered. Ohio State with its biggest lead, 37-17 with 2:45 to play.
And I know we've been saying this for the last few years, but how key Amir Williams is to the success of this Buckeye team. And again, it's not just you dump it down in the post and he gets plays, but it's the rebounds, the block shots, the activity that he can bring to the table that can give you another dimension to your defense, more importantly to your offense, to be able to score inside the paint.
The physical tools are there.
Oh, they're there. It's just that motor, being able to do it game in and game out at a high intensity.
Beating the shot clock with a triple is Quentin Ray. That's his first 3-ball of the season and his first bucket of the game. The lob to Williams. Good interior passing, and Loving got hammered by Mampson. That's the third personal on Mampson.
You know, sometimes you just got to let it fly, and that was in rhythm. Off a nice reverse pass. Ray able to knock it in with a contest from D'Angelo Russell.
Mark Loving, 7 points tonight. And the Toledo sophomore, a good free throw shooter, as on the young season mark now 8 for 9 at the charity stripe.
Comes from a great program in Toledo St. John's. Coach Ed Heinchel actually was coaching when I was there. A number of very good high school players have come out of that program. So fundamentally, Mark understands how to play the game. And I think you see this evening, block shot, save out of bounds, the assist, and also the scoring. That's what really intrigued Coach Mata on that recruiting trail about what Mark could bring to the table.
Days on the drive. Days will try again and get fouled. Now, how about Nigel Hayes of Wisconsin and Mark Loving of the Buckeyes coming out of Toledo the same year?
And it was always a debate, well, who was the better player? Well, there were two different type of players. Now, Nigel in high school would play point guard, would play some shooting guard, just as Mark Loving would do. I think Nigel was a lot more comfortable on the block. You know, that football body, he played it. But I believe both coaches are extremely happy with the players that they have, but well represented from the city of Toledo, those two young men.
Rod Days knocking down a free throw, and this is a big deal for Campbell University as he gets them both. And Coach Kevin McGeehan kind of reiterated what you just said moments ago, Jim. It's not like we don't practice shooting free throws. He goes, I'll bet in practice we're a 75% free throw shooting team. He goes, it's become a mental thing during games. But here tonight, Campbell University at the foul line, 4 for 4. Loving on the drive. Mason got a hand on it, but Mason's going to get called for the foul. I beg your pardon. The foul's going to go on Rod Days.
I like the mindset of the Buckeyes right now, because when you're up, you know, double digits, it's easy to settle. because you can take a jump shot, don't worry about it, but they continue to be on the attack. And I think when you play like that, Tom, it becomes habit. You don't fall into I'll settle. You gain the mindset that we're going to continue to attack, and that's what this Buckeye team, I think, ultimately has to do, because once again, it feeds to open jump shots, but more importantly, you get to the free throw line, you create fouls for the other team.
Loving now a game high 10. Buckeyes up 30, make that 40-22 with 1:25 left. That Mano was saying that was something they really harped on in practice. Keep attacking no matter what the score is. Don't play to the score.
Exactly.
And that'll be a kicking of the basketball, so Campbell will inbound it in its own front court. These two schools have never played each other, but the Buckeyes are 12-0 lifetime against the Big South. Meanwhile, Campbell 1-1 against the Big Ten. They beat Iowa 3 years ago. Days for three. And Williams takes it away. That's his 5th rebound. Russell, nice pump fake inside the arc. Got it. He has 9.
I love the patience that time. Eyeing the defender early on, knowing that in the closeout position that he could get the defender flying with a little pump fake.
Half minute to go. Ohio State up 20 with the Fighting Camels. Campbell University, located 30 minutes south of Raleigh, North Carolina. 7 to shoot, almost to travel, and it is. My goodness, another turnover. That's the 11th on Campbell.
Yeah, this poor spacing that time. DJ Mason was standing kind of in the middle. Ray wanted to drive. He had 3 Campbell players standing right next to each other.
So the Buckeyes will get one last shot here with 10 seconds to go, leading by 20. Russell for 3. What a good-looking stroke. And so Russell now with a dozen. Mark Loving with 10. Ohio State shooting over 60% again in this first half. Routing Campbell University 45-22. After the break, we'll get it back to our Big Ten studios and join Dave and Sean for the State Farm halftime report. Here at the half in Columbus, Ohio State drilling Campbell University by a score of 45-22. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Along with Jim Jackson, I'm Tom Hamilton. Let's check out the first half highlights. Once again, Jim dominated by Ohio State.
And this actually, Tom, should be a calling card for this team because it can open up to a lot of things. But Mark Loving, everybody knew that he had the talent, kind of just waiting on him to start to mature his game and not settle. And over the summer, he really worked on improving his body, his size, also his stamina. And now the little things are starting to work for him. And on the defensive end of the court, like I was saying, this is, I think, an area where Ohio State, if they really lock in, they can be really good because they're long on the perimeter. They're athletic. As you see, they can create turnovers out of this zone defense and get out and run. So as the season progresses, let's continue to watch to see how much better and more comfortable this young Ohio State team gets at playing the 2-3 zone.
There, the numbers dominated. Ohio State, the top shooting team in the country. Well, they're shooting what they've been shooting all year, 60%. Of course, they've really taken advantage of all the mistakes by Campbell. 15 points off of turnovers as we start the second half. Buckeyes ranked 16th in the country at 3-0. Campbell coming in at 1-2. D'Angelo Russell with a rare miss. And the rebound to Kyrie Hamer. He looks to break it the other way. Tough, nice drive, and with a right hand, Hamer finished. He has a half dozen.
Well, I like the attacking part of Hamer right there, but that time Ohio State just slow in transition, getting back defensively. Again, a teaching point that Coach Stab Mata talked to his team about, hey, you weren't ready to play. You weren't ready to play at the beginning of the second half.
Thompson with the miss. Rebound, Quentin Ray. Quinn Ray coming into this ball game, and it has continued tonight, has 15 assists, but he still doesn't have a turnover this season. That's remarkable. Mason doubled up, but he gets out of the corner. Buckeyes staying in the zone as they have all night. 15 to shoot. Ryan, the long three, he knocked it down.
About 5 quick points that time by Campbell. Ready to play coming out of halftime. Ohio State a little lackadaisical in their offensive effort. More importantly, defensively, not the same aggressive style early on in the second half.
Loving will take the three and bury it. 3 points. It's his first triple tonight. He has 13. Ohio State with a 48-27 lead as we played a minute and a half in the second half. Ryan inside the arc, airballed it. Thompson with it. Scott the other way. Scott with 4 assists tonight. He leads the country at 14 assists a game. He'll take the three, rimmed it out. Ray with a rebound. This is Mason, and he got blocked by Amir Williams, who will pick up his second personal.
Coming out in the second half, Campbell seemed like more of the team ready to play. Very easy to kind of pack it in, being down by large numbers, but a little fight with this Campbell team. I'm sure Thad Mata is not as happy with the effort the Buckeyes are giving thus far.
How about that? Mason just outworked everybody for the second chance opportunity and got fouled.
Well, and that's the thing. When you get up big in regards to points, what's your motivation? Well, your motivation has to be we got to continue to get better as a team. And it's easy to come out here and just be average for Ohio State in the second half. That's not what Coach Thad Mata is looking for in his team. And then he looks at this and says, okay, guys, you say you're ready to play, but your body language, your aggressive nature or lack thereof aggressiveness on the defensive end, and that's where you'll really see it. On the defensive end of the court time coming out of halftime.
DJ Mason averaging 15 a game, has 5, and Amir Williams got the quick hook. Trey McDonald, who had 14 rebounds on Sunday, is now playing in the post.
Well, if you watch Amir body language, see the extra pass from Sam Thompson to Shannon Scott on the baseline, his body language indicated he wasn't ready to go. The foul he picked up on the baseline, he was kind of just waltzing through the lane and got to the offensive player late, which caused the foul. So coaches pay attention to those little things that as a player sometimes you think they don't.
Mason again got inside and drew the foul, going strong to the basket, and that'll be on McDonald, and that'll be his second personal.
And what have we seen? Second half, a lot easier for Campbell to get inside the paint and get to the basket. We didn't see a lot of this penetration in the first half.
Well, we told you Campbell shooting 42% from the foul line this season. Tonight, different story, 5 for 5. Make it 6 for 6, half dozen points for Mason. BTN goes where you want, when you want it, with BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch live hoops on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. How about that? How do you shoot 42% from the foul line on the year as a team, and tonight they haven't missed?
Contagious. One player starts to make one, another one knocks it down. Everybody is in rhythm and in sync. It's just like missing free throws. You can be a good free throw shooter, and sometimes when your team is struggling, you begin to struggle.
On the drive, Loving got fouled on a reach-in. And that'll go against Rod Days. That'll be his second. And Loving will go back to the charity stripe. Loving tonight is 4 for 5 at the foul line. He has 13 points. D'Angelo Russell with a dozen.
You talk about this Ohio State team, Tom, projecting what they're going to look like in the Big Ten. You got Wisconsin that's pretty much by themselves on the upper echelon, and then 2 through 6, 2 through 7, you can kind of flip-flop. Is it Michigan State? Michigan had a tough loss last night.
Played pretty well.
Played second half was excellent. Minnesota's in there. How good will Illinois be? It's a lot of questions. You see Campbell again attacking the basket. Excellent defense by McDonald.
And coast to coast, Shannon Scott, and he has 11, the third Buckeye in double figures.
But you got to go to, and I'll finish my comment about the Big Ten, but Shannon Scott decision making. That time knowing to hold the basketball. Defense didn't stop him, so he continued with his move, where I think a lot of young point guards struggle is in their decision making, when to go, when to pull back, and when to pass.
Campbell University's played much better this second half, more aggressive.
They're more assertive. They're more demonstrative in regards to attacking off the dribble. They're not playing off of their heels. Now, look, if you make a mistake being aggressive, the coach can deal with that. But when you're tentative, you're unsure, that's when the hesitation causes turnovers, bad shots. Ohio State takes advantage of it, but a much better job in the second half of just being more assertive in their offensive sets.
This is Kyrie Hamer, 6'2" sophomore, averaging 14 points a game, and that's their first miss from the foul stripe tonight. Well, the standings from a year ago, Michigan won the regular season Big Ten title. How about Wisconsin finished 3 games back, and yet it was the Badgers that got to the Final Four. Ohio State with a 53-32 lead, 16:09 left in this one.
And you saw those standings. You got to add a Maryland in this year, which I watched play last night against Iowa State. And that Maryland team,
What'd you think?
they're right in the mix of things. I mean, they have size. They have talent on the wings. Speaking of talent, Mark Loving with a nice little jump hook inside. But that Maryland team, Des Wells can play, can flat out play. Okay, big, strong, physical forward, a tough matchup. The freshman Melo Trimble had a really good game against Iowa State. And another young freshman, 7-footer, Mikhail Tchaikovsky. Agile, mobile, can block shots. They'll add a lot of credibility, I think, when they come and begin their conference play.
Mark Loving with the block on the baseline. Mark Loving with a new career high, 16 points tonight. And he's helped give the Buckeyes a 22-point lead.
Tom, we talked about the outstanding freshmen we have in the Big Ten. And James Blackman Jr., father played at Kentucky, averaging 20 points. Very methodical, but athletic, can shoot the 3-ball. D'Angelo Russell, of course, Melo Trimble. Last night against Iowa State, 11 points. He had 3 assists. Robert Johnson, backcourt mate with James Blackman. But also about Isaac Haas. A very good game. Big 7-footer, big body. So I think the conference is in good hands in regards to outstanding young players who are contributing early and making an impact for their teams.
The league lost a bunch of talented people, but my goodness, these freshmen have made their mark early. Lee fell, lost the handle. The other way comes Hamer. And Scott deflected it out of bounds.
And the whole time going back, Shannon Scott was setting that up. He was reading the body language of Hamer, and as soon as he saw the crossover, that's when Shannon Scott jumped on. Again, a lot of that has to be with, over the years, working with Aaron Craft. You remember how good Aaron was in transition of stripping the ball from the defenders. Shannon Scott taking a page out of Craft's book.
Well, that time, Sam Thompson with the intercept and driving the other way and fouled is Shannon Scott.
It's kind of hard to tell from the back angle, but right now Shannon Scott is squaring up. And now at the last minute, with Hamer thought he had an angle to get inside, and that's what made Aaron so good, the ability to deflect the ball and knock it down without fouling.
Nehemiah Mapson had to go to the bench. You just saw him. He's picked up his 4th personal, the freshman. Penetrating and not quite getting it to go was Mark Loving, but he'll go to the line where he's been very active and shoot 2 more.
You'll never know with Mark Loving if he's having a good game or a bad game. You don't know if that's good because you can't read the emotions, but his demeanor is so stoic. Okay, you want to pull some emotion, and when he shows the emotion, you're kind of caught off guard. But it's just interesting to see the different personalities you have. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, he gets into it, he's excited right away. With Mark Loving, it's a little bit different. He's kind of just laid back, like, you know, get to the free throw line, knock a couple down, get a block shot.
However it works, that fits your personality.
Right? Exactly.
Every time he scores now, it's a new career high. 18 for Mark Loving, and on the inbounds, Cam Williams gets called for the hold. And that'll be his first. It's 5 on the Buckeyes, who lead Campbell 57-35. We've played just over 5 minutes here in the second half. Buckeyes have put a little more pressure tonight on Campbell than what we saw Sunday against Sacred Heart.
Again, you work on different aspects of your defense. I think that's what Coach Mata is looking at, is extending that 2-2-1 press to get a sense and feel where his team is at. And for also for them, the Buckeyes themselves, to get comfortable playing that trapping defense.
Andrew Ryan with the miss. Anthony Lee with the care. 22-point Ohio State lead. Williams with the ball, averaging 10 a ball game. He's been held to 3 tonight, but he's only taken 3 shots. Buckeyes still shooting 59% from the floor.
Well, you think about how many forced shots or bad shots that has Ohio State really have to take. Right there, by being patient, you're getting high-quality shots.
Thompson with 9. Buckeyes already with 3 in double figures. They had 6 in double figures on Sunday. Ohio State up 24 as Days too strong on the 3. And Days out-hustles everyone. Spot up 3. Knocked down by Andrew Ryan. He has 9. That's his 3rd triple tonight. 59-38 Ohio State. 6.5 gone here in the second half. Loving for 3. Shannon Scott with a rebound. Williams on the kick out. Rimmed it. Anthony Lee getting aggressive on the offensive boards. Anthony Lee, who graduated from Temple, so he's got 1 season here in Columbus, working on his master's. Cam Williams from the corner, short again. And Sam Thompson got a hand on it, but the Fighting Camels are called for another turnover on the double dribble, their 13th turnover of the night.
Just too much size. I mean, eventually you can hustle, you can block, you can rotate, but athleticism and size time just eventually just takes over. I mean, we've seen it all, you know, evening here, but that was a prime example on that possession. 2 or 3 offensive rebounds by Ohio State, and even when Campbell had an opportunity to get the rebound, they weren't able to grab it in, and it eventually ended up as a turnover.
So D'Angelo Russell will inbound it from his own baseline. Ada Bates-Diop will give it to Russell.
And here's the other dynamic, too, by having D'Angelo run the point. You know, you trust that he'll make the right decision. Excellent passer.
Got it there to Lee, and he scored.
Yeah, well, he has size at that point guard position. You can see over the defense. You know, as he gets more comfortable at this level, decision-making becomes better. But you like to have that option where you can have a bigger player who can score and shoot at the point guard position. It really helps your pick and roll offense. Well, I was going to say, the decision right there, I'm hyping you up, and then you almost turn it over.
Buckeyes recover. We've played 8 minutes here in the second half. Ohio State up 23. This is Russell finding the
There we go. That's my man.
There's the decision.
That's the decision right there.
4 for Anthony Lee on a nice dish by Russell. His 3rd assist. He has 12 points himself.
And I talked about Mark Loving, and some guys just got it. Just got a natural feel for the game. It's the understanding. This is right there with the three-pointer. Some things you can teach, some things you want to hone. And D'Angelo Russell was right there, just understanding how to set his defender up to get open, to square his feet, to get right in position. Again, it's always a teaching thing with a young player in regards to how to play hard all the time. But the natural instincts that this young man possesses is just incredible. And it's going to bode well, I think, the more comfortable, the more games he plays for the Buckeyes.
Ryan's 5th triple. His 15. Well, he's had as many as 27 points in the game. Lee on the block, short, trying to keep it alive. A scrum, and that time Tate got tied up. And it's actually going to be a foul call on Campbell University. So we've got a timeout. D'Angelo Russell this time with the assist to Anthony Lee. Buckeyes rolling by 21.
Welcome back. The in the net play is the focus of tonight's Bass Pro Shops in the net. And it's D'Angelo Russell, of course. Now, I want you to take a look. The ability to catch the ball on the drive, on the move. The defender now, they can't recover, Tom. But then to make the play in tight quarters. And I talked about having a feel for the game. D'Angelo Russell has that special component. Again, that's hard to teach. If you have it as a player, you just have it. The job of the coaching staff is to really make him a more well-rounded player, to utilize the skill set that he has, but more importantly, for him to understand how to make his teammates better. In that particular play, he got a nice little easy basket for Lee inside.
Buckeyes with a 65-44 lead. 10:38 to play here at the Value City Arena in Columbus. At the foul line, Jayshawn Tate, averaging 7 points a game out of Pickerington, rims that first free throw. Campbell University, you see they're not shooting tonight as well as they have all season long, except much better at the foul line.
Yeah.
They just can't get there enough as Jayshawn Tate gets his first point of the night. The Buckeyes up 22.
And you still see the pressure, and you say, well, why are the Buckeyes still pressuring at this point of the game? And I'll just take it back. It's the bigger picture. It's not to run up the score, but they're continuing to tweak and learn. Because with a young team, as you see right here, these are all learning moments. Okay? And from a coaching staff, great hustle that time by Jayshawn Tate. They're going to always talk about we got to continue to get better in practice and even in the game. That's why you see Ohio State still applying pressure.
Substitution 13.
Dan Mata, who is closing in on eclipsing the record for most wins ever at Ohio State, held by the immortal Fred Taylor. He's 20 wins shy of becoming the all-time winningest coach here in Columbus. And he has seen Jayshawn Tate come off the bench here and again put a little spark into the Buckeyes. On the drive with a nice finish is Kyrie Hamel, and he has 9, and he'll go to the line and try to make it a 3-point play. Jim, Ohio State's going to win big here as you look at the banners of the retired numbers, including Fred Taylor. When you're being mentioned with Fred Taylor, then you have really accomplished something. And that's what Thad Matta has.
Well, it says a couple of things. One, you know how to win games. But two, you got a lot of talent. Because every great coach has had some great players. You can't have one without the other. But the thing is that players trust that when they come play for Coach Matta and his coaching staff, that one, they'll get taught how to play the game. Second, they have an opportunity to win a lot of games. And third, to make it to the National Basketball Association, get a great education. So when you have those factors working for you, it's easy, not easy, but you can go out and sell the program because you have a resume that supports what you're preaching.
Jayshawn Tate can't get it to go, but he stays aggressive and scores again. Well, he has had 5 quick points coming off the bench And the Buckeyes now lead at 70-46.
Yeah, and how do you label Jason Tate? Is he a 2? Is he a 3? Is he a 4? No, he's just a player. You put him on the court, and you let him do what he does, which is hustle. And that's all created by the hustle of Jason Tate by getting a deflection on the defensive end. And I think the quality of every winning or championship team is having a player like Tate that's undefined but understands his role. You don't have to run plays for him. He figures it out throughout the course of the game.
Hamer just made a perfect pass. The problem was it was to his coach, Kevin McGeehan. Buckeyes with a 73-46 lead with 8:45 left.
Intangible sometimes. That's a drive with the left, but did not give up on the play. Continued to get the offensive rebound. And again, you talk about some things you can't teach. The motor that he has, you can't teach it. You know, but I think it also spreads to his teammates when he comes out and give that hustle. Against Sacred Heart, when he came in the game, it seemed like the intensity on the defensive end picked up when Tate got on the floor.
7th Ohio State turnover. Hamer with a kick out. This is Gaines for 3, and he has his second triple. 8 points in the game for Rod Days. And the Buckeyes lead is down to 24 with 8:10 to play.
And Coach McKeon will take a look at that particular play in film session and say, look, guys, when we keep the game simple and we make the right passes, we get open shots like we just did.
Driving, Williams. This is Tate, 8 to shoot. Tate, little shake and bake. The pass deflected. 4 to shoot. Ball on the ground. Good defensive possession that time by Campbell University, which has a season-high 9 threes tonight. And Campbell University does have 10 offensive rebounds. So those are certainly red flags for Ohio State, because that will be a 3-point foul situation, as Moore let it fly and he got fouled by Tate. So 3 free throws coming up for the Fighting Camels when we come back. Ohio State by 24.
Ohio State a commanding 73-49 lead over Campbell. And Coach McGeehan is, like any coach, doesn't want to lose, but you can always take positives out of a loss. And you see against the zone, the ball movement, the attack. Hamer able to dribble, deep penetration out to Days for an open three-pointer. And just like Ohio State, Tom, teaching points here for Campbell. How do we get better as a team when we face the zone defense? Well, part of it is patience. The other part is making the correct pass, and then when you don't have a shot, turn and look weak side, dribble drive, you get an open shot. So on both ends of the spectrum, you can learn from this type of game. Even though it's a 23-point game, you still have a lot of teaching points that could benefit both teams later in the season.
Andrew Ryan getting the 3 free throws, knocked down a pair of them. He has 17 points tonight, 5 triples. One thing about Campbell, they're getting beat by 22, but they do have 9 triples, and they've only been out-rebounded by 4 and have 10 offensive rebounds, as Shannon Scott was bumped as he started his move.
And that's a positive for Campbell. That's a negative for Ohio State. Now, one thing happens when you play a lot of zone, you're playing a spot on the floor more so than a man. And it was about time. Sam has been dormant in regards to the exciting play. The crowd was anticipating, and they love to run that out-of-bounds play where they slip Sam to the basket. But like I was saying about the zone defense, part of it is you have to find a body. You have to find a man when the shot goes up, and that's something that Ohio State is going to have to continue to improve on.
Thompson now with 11. That's his first highlight dunk of the night. The Buckeyes have 4 in double figures. Lead 75-51. Mason with a triple. The 10th triple of the night for Campbell, and Mason has 10 points. And the Buckeyes lead down to 21 with 6.5 minutes to go. Buckeyes still have all their starters out there. This is D'Angelo Russell for 3. And he now has 17. Buckeyes force still another 16th turnover. Russell for 3. He has 20, and it seems like a quiet 20.
Well, because he's not taking shots in volume.
And a turnover.
That's why, Tom. I mean, good hustle, good defense. You can tell when a guy shooting back-to-back shots, but D'Angelo Russell, again, doesn't have to get 20 points on volume shooting. He knocks down a 3, comes back in transition. And 3, you very much. And the little crossover. We knew the young man could play, but Tom, he's pretty good.
5 Buckeyes in double figures. This was easy. Ohio State winning big again. .320 to play. Ohio State will soon be 4-0. They lead Campbell 85-56. Big night for Mark Loving.
A big night, more aggressive, in particular on the defensive end, but I love the way he attacked Campbell's defense, not settling for jump shots. What's impressive to me, Tom, is not just the points, but how he got them. The 9 free throws, which means he's aggressive, getting to the basket, getting fouled, more importantly, converting those free throws.
Mark Loving is tonight's Duluth Trading hardest working player. 18 points. He's only missed 2 shots. He also has the 3 rebounds. And Mark Loving came in here averaging 11 points a game. So it's been a career best for Mark Loving. He's never scored 18 points in a game before.
Well, I'm sure he'll have more of those through his career here. Okay, so the big question, Tom, is Turkey Day tomorrow. What's your favorite food?
All of the above.
All of them. So you saw up there during the break, too, they asked a lot of the players, and you said macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving. Well,
yeah, why?
Let me tell you something. In our neighborhood, you get judged on your macaroni and cheese.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You know, a lot of us would say, listen, I don't eat nobody's macaroni and cheese but my mom. Okay, that's it. And you go to other people's house and say, well, it just wasn't the same as it was at home. That's big in our neighborhood, in our household. You know, you get judged on, you can have everything else right, but if you mess up the macaroni and cheese,
day's over.
The day's over. The meal is done. Just saying.
I'm not coming to your place then for Thanksgiving because I'm not eating macaroni and cheese.
Well, I mean, you don't have to eat it, but, well, my mother's not cooking anyway. She gave up cooking a long time. I think she's ordering in when I go home. I said, I did enough for you when you were younger. That's it.
We ask all of you, travel safely. Enjoy your families on this great holiday. Thanksgiving tomorrow, and then a Thanksgiving leftover on Friday. The Buckeyes will be back home here to play James Madison. Right on BTN. Is nice drive and finish by Phillips, and he got fouled.
Nice move that time. Here's the thing. So if you're Ohio State, you got to play Friday. As you see the drive here, you really can't indulge and eat like you want, because you got to make it so bad. You got an early game at 4 o'clock. So generally, you know, especially if you've been away at college and you get a chance to get some home cooking, you want it all. But then in the back of your mind, you're like, well, if I eat all this, I'm gonna be sluggish come Friday. So how do you balance that? Do you wait till Saturday, like take some leftovers and really go at it on Saturday, or?
You know what I bet we see Friday?
What's that?
We'll see the freshmen that haven't done this before.
Oh,
They'll be sluggish. Oh, yeah. Shannon Scott knows not to be.
Stuck in cement.
22 points now for D'Angelo Russell, and the Buckeyes lead it 89-61.
When I was a freshman, I made that mistake. And Coach Ayers made sure that he wanted to run it out of us. I mean, we had like a hard shoot-around, a hard practice to run that Thanksgiving dinner, dessert off of us.
And the really good guys, Randy Ayers.
That's my man.
Former Buckeye. Buckeyes coach. Ohio State up 89-61. He had a son that was a good player at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and he's doing well. Still down. He's down in New Orleans. It's funny that when Anthony Davis got down there, and Mark Baker and I gave Coach Ayers a call. I call him Randy now. Hey, Randy. We told him, we said, listen, you got a good player down there. Don't mess him up, okay? don't screw him up. It looks like he does a pretty good job right now.
Coach Mata, the teaching continues even when you're routing an opponent. D'Angelo Russell getting some one-on-one. And Russell with another good game tonight. He had 22 points and a career best 7 assists. 1:42 to play. The Buckeyes up 89-62. One thing that won't happen tonight, Shannon Scott, for the first time this year, won't have double figures in assists, as Tate missed it. Shannon Scott, averaging 14 assists a game, became the first player in college basketball in the last 15 years to have double figures in assists in the first 3 games of the season. Scott still had a good game. Williams had it blocked. Buckeyes maintained possession. Shannon Scott tonight finished with 11 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, leading the country in 14 assists a game.
Patient, persistence, pays off, never complained, never wavered. You know, he did what was expected of him as a teammate. A very good teammate. And like I said, in our open, it's very easy to say you need to be selfless, you need to sacrifice when you're playing. When you're on the court, when you're an integral part in playing your position. Well, Shannon, at times, wasn't in his natural position. But now, you talked about being a leader. Now, when he speaks, he has credibility because he's lived it.
Ryan missed it. Maxson down low. Skip pass in the corner. Nice fake by Phillips. He missed it badly. And then garbage time for Maxson. He's stuck with it. He has 7. 91-64 Buckeyes. Half minute to go. 22 for Russell, 18 for Loving, 11 apiece for Scott and Thompson, 10 for Williams. And the Buckeyes shooting 61%. That's what they have shot all season long as they lead the country in that department. And the 16th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes are now 4-0 as they defeat Campbell University 91-64. So Thad Matta and Kevin McGeehan shake hands, and Ohio State can enjoy their Thanksgiving dinner unbeaten after 4 games. And the Buckeyes came in averaging 91 points a game. They hit 91 again tonight. So this offense has been in a high gear since the opening tip this season. And the Buckeyes in another rout here tonight.